Elfie and the Mysterious Library. Once upon a time, in a magical land full of forests and lakes, lived a small elf named Elfie. Elfie was a curious and joyful creature who loved to explore new places. One day, while walking through the dense forest, Elfie stumbled upon something extraordinary. Among the thick bushes, he noticed an old wooden gate. On the gate, there was an inscription, "Mysterious Library." Elfie's eyes lit up with excitement. He loved books and adventures, and the thought of a magical library filled with stories was irresistible to him. With a pounding heart, he opened the gate and stepped inside. Inside the library, there was a dim light, and the air was filled with the scent of old books. Tall shelves were full of volumes about various adventures, from stories about dragons to tales of distant lands. Elfie felt like he was in paradise. However, his joy did not last long. At the end of the main aisle stood a stern-looking librarian. He was a tall, thin elf named Mr. Grumpf. His face was always drawn into a severe expression, and his eyes looked suspiciously at anyone who appeared in the library. "What are you doing here, little elf?" Mr. Grumpf asked in a threatening tone. "This place is not for the likes of you." Elfie felt his heart start to beat faster with fear. He just wanted to read books and have adventures, but the stern librarian made him feel uneasy. However, Elfie did not give up so easily. He decided to show Mr. Grumpf that he was worthy of being in the library. Every day he came to the library, tried to be quiet and polite, but Mr. Grumpf always found a reason to scold him. "Don't touch those books," he would shout. "You can't run around here." Elfie felt increasingly discouraged. He felt sad and ashamed that he could not earn the librarian's trust. One day, as he was sitting alone in a corner of the library, he overheard a conversation between two older elves. "Did you hear that Mr. Grumpf was once a great lover of books?" one of the elves said. "But something happened, and since then he has been so stern." Elfie decided to find out what had happened. He searched through various books until he finally came across an old, dusty book hidden on the top shelf. The book had golden letters on the cover and was titled "The Librarian's Heart." When Elfie opened the book, he saw the story of a young elf who loved books and adventures, but one day lost trust in others when his favorite book was destroyed by careless readers. That young elf was Mr. Grumpf. Elfie understood that Mr. Grumpf was not mean, just hurt. He decided to do something that could restore the librarian's faith in others. For several days, he worked on creating a beautiful bookmark, using colorful leaves and flowers from the forest. On the bookmark he wrote, "For Mr. Grumpf from Elfie, thank you for all the books." When the bookmark was ready, Elfie approached Mr. Grumpf and handed it to him. The librarian looked at the bookmark and then at Elfie. His stern face softened and tears appeared in his eyes. "Thank you, little elf," he said quietly. "No one has ever done something so kind for me." From that day on, Mr. Grumpf began to treat Elfie differently. He was less stern and more open. Elfie could now enjoy books and adventures in the library without fear. He learned that sometimes, to understand someone's behavior, you need to know their story. And Mr. Grumpf regained faith in others thanks to the little elf who showed him that it is worth trusting and being kind. And so, Elfie and Mr. Grumpf became the best of friends, and the mysterious library became a place full of joy and adventures for all elves. Dear reader, have you ever felt sad or angry because someone was mean to you? Maybe that person had reasons you didn't know about. Think about what you could do to help them feel better, just as Elfie helped Mr. Grumpf. Remember that small gestures can change a lot and bring joy not only to others, but also to yourself.